I'm Dave Grooters with Carlton Cellars. We are a small 2,400 case winery right in the middle of Carlton. I've been in the industry since '95. My wife and I have a little vineyard, a 25-acre vineyard right outside of town, and our winery's right smack dab in the middle of Carlton.
You started out by working with Ken Wright for several years.
Worked as a volunteer for Ken in '95, then as a vineyard manager in '96 and '97 at Canary Hill, and every vintage during harvest through to 2006. And then 2007 we started our own place, converted a steel metal warehouse to a winery, and began making our own wine there.
Where did you live before you moved to Carlton?
Media, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia.
So this is a bit of a life change for you.
Bit of a life change. Sold a software company in '95 and came out here. And it's all because of Nick Pirano of Nick's Italian Café. We've been great friends ever since the '60s in the Army, and he introduced me to a lot of the winemakers and the great Pinot Noir they were making, and I just got the bug.
Huh. You've got kind of an interesting operation that you're not the only winery under your roof.
That's right. We originally had shared our facility with Raptor Ridge for 3 years, and now this year we have J. Albin, Barking Frog, Youngberg Hill, Ghost Hill, and Ed Foose of Angel Vine, all making their wine in fairly small lots in our facility. But it helps to pay the rent, and it's actually a kind of a collaborative space where we help each other with crush and winemaking ideas, and lots of things that come together. So,
and any conflicts during harvest when the sorting table's full? Or?
I can't say none, but in general, it's fairly small lots. We're able to schedule it and work around it. And Ed and Barking Frog especially bring their wine in from grapes in from Eastern Washington, and so they come in on a different schedule as opposed to the local Pinot Noir and the Pinot Gris. So we really haven't had much of a problem. We haven't had to actually work many late nights at all.
That's great. You've got Carlton Winemakers Studio is kind of down the road around the corner. Similar sort of situation, although theirs was kind of, they meant to do it that way. Yours sounds like yours just sort of happened that way.
It happened as we found that we had the capacity, and I didn't want to grow to make 10,000 cases. This is a better way to use the facility and basically pay the rent and the mortgage and the interest and the insurance and all those overhead items. Yeah, we're similar to the winemaker studio, but on a smaller scale.
Right. Okay. Your labels are some of the most interesting, I think, when we see Pinot Noir. Explain what those are.
When I first came to the Oregon coast, we went out to a beach called Rhodes End, which is north of Lincoln City. And I just was enamored with the Oregon coast, the magnificent rocks and the relief of the coast. And for our first Pinot Noir that we made at Ken Wright's in 2001, I needed a label, and still had lots of friends back on the East Coast, and I wanted a very quintessential Oregon label. So the Oregon coast seemed like a natural, and we chose Rhodes End, partly because of the name too. It kind of implies you've got where you're going, you come to the end of the road, time for a glass of wine, that kind of thing. So as we expanded our wines later on, we just stayed with the Oregon beach. So we have Cape Lookout, another Pinot Noir, Seven Devils, our Willamette Valley blend Pinot Noir, Cannon Beach, a Pinot Gris that we make, Proposal Rock, a Sauv Blanc that we make, and Agate Beach, which was a rosé. We also made a little Dolcetto too, but that's another story.
Any other beaches that you're going to use the names of?
I'd have to shoot you.
Okay.
I don't know, Andy. We're pretty much got the outline of the wines that we want to make now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not a lot of wines have photos on the label, and you seem to have done that pretty successfully.
Well, the two lead wines are actually oil paintings, and I really love the idea of art and wine going together. I always like the Adelsheim paintings, where Jenny Adelsheim painted portraits of her friends. That's a personal, intimate kind of a statement. I like art and wine. So we dedicated our whole label, on the front label, to the art, and then all the details on the back label with the AVA and alcohol and all that sort of thing. That may change. We may shrink those labels down a little bit, still keep the picture, but put a little more information material in the front. So.
Okay. We're here in Carlton, which has kind of become maybe the wine capital of Yamhill County.
At least Yamhill County.
It's exciting to see what's happened to this town in the last decade.
It is. There are a lot of wineries. The place is just crawling with tasting rooms. It's a nice town to come to because we don't have a lot of heavy commercial traffic going through it, as you might in Dundee. And there's B&Bs and restaurants and wineries, wine shops. we've made a real effort, and Ken Wright has really led this effort, to be a good partner in our community by raising funds for the local community, by being a good neighbor in terms of our winery practices and things like that. We've tried to be a good a benefit to Carlton in general, not just for the tourist trade, but all the way around the city. So.
And you've attracted a lot of businesses not directly related, like a chocolatier and the Republic of Jam.
Republic of Jam, right?
Kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. We'd like to have other businesses that are not just in the winery. We've had some junk shops, that's not what you call them, antiqueries or something like that, and places like that, and nice little restaurants too. The Café and the Horseradish and the filling station, they're all great places.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Yeah. What do you think's the future of Carlton?
I think more of the same. I think that the city is, as I think you actually talked to Kathy Orion a little bit, our mayor, have some infrastructure issues with the roads and things like that, but those problems can be solved. And I think the city is going to continue to grow and be more of a wine-centric, wine-focused town.
Do you think Carlton can be a blueprint for other towns in the north of Willamette to kind of look at?
It's probably beyond my expertise to answer that one. It is working here, I'll say that.
Yeah.
We're getting along with the town, and for the most part, the town likes the presence of the wineries there. We're really careful about the alcohol and the drinking and all those negative sides of it. We try and keep very clean in terms of our operations at the winery and in the vineyards, etc. So we've been good neighbors. Whether that would work everywhere, I don't know.
Okay.
But Carlton somehow got the critical mass, and it's built partly around Ken Wright and then Canna's Feast and the studio and ourselves and Scott Paul, which are sort of the anchor wineries that are there.
Right. And you've got Southern Oregon influence now, which is kind of fun.
It was kind of a mystery to me why they keep opening up their tasting rooms on Main Street in Carlton when they're making the wine in the Umpqua Valley or the Rogue Valley. But they like it here, and it's added another dimension of wines that people can come and get. So it's not just Pinot. It's
right.
Cab and Merlot and all sorts of stuff.
And not that anyone would ever get tired of Pinot, but
not me.
Yeah, but it is kind of fun to have a Merlot and a Cab and Sangiovese and some of those things just down the road. So.
It is, and we bought some Dolcetto fruit from Dick Erath in 2009 and made 200 cases of Dolcetto, and that was really fun to have an alternative red. And we made it in the soft style like our Pinots. It was very popular, and I've got bench grafts that we're going to plant this fall for about an acre of Dolcetto. So it's nice to have something other than Pinot, even though I just love Pinot Noir.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Thanks for your time.
Andy, thank you.